The way you talk to yourself is either a cage or a key. Lesson 1. The Secret of Success. Today, I'd like to share with you what might be the strangest secret in the world. It's strange because it's so simple, so obvious, and yet 95% of people have never discovered it. The secret is this: we become what we think about. Take a moment to let that sink in. This truth has been stated in various ways throughout human history. The Bible tells us, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "A man is what he thinks about all day long." And the Buddha taught, "All that we are is the result of what we have thought." Here's a simple story to illustrate this principle. Consider a farmer who has a choice of what seed to plant in his field. If he plants corn, he can be absolutely certain corn will grow. If he plants wheat, wheat will grow. The farmer cannot plant corn and expect wheat to appear. This is a law of nature. Your mind works the same way. The thoughts you plant, positive or negative, ambitious or fearful, will grow exactly what you've planted. Nothing more, nothing less. This is the paradox of success. Everyone wants it, but few understand the simple mechanism that creates it. I've watched thousands of people throughout my life. Those who accomplish remarkable things invariably focus their thoughts on what they want to become. Those who struggle often fill their minds with worries about what they wish to avoid. Just 6 inches separate your 2 ears, but within that small space lies the most powerful laboratory in the universe. In your mind, you have complete freedom to plant any thought you choose. Most people never realize this extraordinary power, drifting through life taking whatever thoughts happen to blow their way. Let me ask you this: what thoughts occupy your mind most frequently? Are you thinking about growth, contribution, and possibilities? Or do you focus on problems, limitations, and fears? The answer to this question largely determines the direction of your life. Consider Thomas Edison's remarkable perseverance through thousands of unsuccessful attempts to create the electric light bulb. What thoughts do you suppose filled his mind during those countless failures? Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His dominant thought was finding a solution, not dwelling on obstacles. Starting today, I challenge you to pay careful attention to your habitual thoughts. What seeds are you planting in that fertile garden between your ears? Whatever you plant will eventually grow. Try this simple exercise. For the next week, write down your dominant thoughts at the end of each day. Don't judge them, just observe. Just observe. Are they thoughts that will move you toward your goals or away from them? The strange secret of success is available to everyone, but few will apply it. Will you be among those who do? The question isn't whether this principle works. It always has and always will. The only question is whether you'll put it to work in your life. Your thoughts are either a cage that limits you or a key that sets you free. The choice is entirely yours. Lesson 2. The Magic of Clear Goals. Isn't it strange how most people move through life without any particular destination in mind? They're like ships without rudders, drifting whichever way the currents of circumstance take them. Then these same people express surprise when they find themselves washed up on shores they never intended to visit. The difference between those who achieve remarkable things and those who merely exist can often be traced to one simple factor: clear, written goals. You see, there's a profound difference between a wish and a goal. A wish is a hazy notion, a dream without a deadline. But a goal, a true goal, is something altogether different. A properly set goal has power because it focuses the incredible resources of your mind. Think of your subconscious as the most sophisticated guidance system ever created. But even the most advanced navigation system needs coordinates to work effectively. Your written goals provide those exact coordinates. I once conducted what I call the 30-day goal experiment with a group of business professionals. I asked them to write down their most important goal on a card small enough to fit in their wallet or purse. The instructions were simple. Read this goal first thing every morning and last thing every night. Think about it throughout the day. See it, feel it, believe it as already accomplished. The results were nothing short of remarkable. One woman who had struggled for years to launch her own business secured 3 major clients within those 30 days. A young salesman doubled his monthly performance. A department manager finally resolved a staff conflict that had seemed impossible for months. What happened? Nothing magical, just the natural law of focused thought in action. When you plant a specific goal in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind and water it daily with attention and belief, achievement grows as naturally as a seed becomes a plant. Consider Thomas Edison, who held over 1,000 patents. Did these innovations come by accident? Hardly. Edison set clear objectives for each problem he tackled. He didn't merely wish for a practical electric light. He established the specific parameters such an invention needed to meet, then worked methodically toward that clearly defined target. The tragedy is that most people spend more time planning a 2-week vacation than planning their lives. They have vague notions about someday being successful or happy, but they've never taken the time to define exactly what that means to them. Your assignment today is simple but powerful. Take a blank sheet of paper and write at the top, "My 5 main goals for the next year." Then number from 1 to 5. Now write your goals in the present tense, as if you've already achieved them. Be specific. Include dates, amounts, and measurable outcomes. Read these goals daily. Think about them, and watch as the magnificent mechanism of your mind begins to work day and night, consciously and unconsciously, guiding you toward their achievement. Remember, a goal not written is merely a wish, but a goal clearly defined and committed to paper takes on a life and power of its own. It becomes the key that unlocks the cage of mediocrity and opens the door to extraordinary achievement. Lesson 3. The miracle of your mind's garden. Have you ever considered that the mind you possess is the most remarkable garden in existence? Indeed, it is. And just like any garden, it will grow whatever you plant within it, no more, no less. Your mind doesn't judge what you plant. It doesn't say, "Oh, I think I'll reject these seeds of doubt and only nurture the seeds of confidence." No, it simply accepts whatever you place within it and begins the miracle of growth immediately. Consider the farmer who approaches his field each spring. He knows with absolute certainty that whatever seed he plants will return its own kind in abundance. Plant corn, harvest corn, harvest corn. Plant weeds or nothing at all, and that's precisely what you'll get. Your thoughts work by this same immutable law. The thoughts you habitually entertain are seeds being planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. These thoughts, whether positive or negative, will grow and eventually produce circumstances that match their nature. Many of us walk through life unaware that we're constantly gardening, planting thoughts of worry, fear, or limitation that inevitably spring forth as the very conditions we wish to avoid. How often have you caught yourself saying, "This always happens to me," or "I'll never be able to afford that," or "People like me don't get those kinds of opportunities"? These are powerful seeds indeed. But here's the wonderful truth. You can choose different seeds. You can consciously select thoughts of prosperity, confidence, and expectation. Plant these consistently, and they must, by natural law, produce their own kind in your life circumstances. Begin today by becoming aware of your thought patterns. Notice when weeds of negativity sprout in your mental garden. Don't fight them or become discouraged by their presence. Simply recognize them, gently remove them, and replace them with something better. This mental gardening requires daily attention. Just as no physical garden stays weed, free without regular care, your mind needs consistent attention. Set aside time each morning and evening to consciously plant thoughts aligned with your greatest goals and aspirations. This process follows natural law. A newly planted seed doesn't become a full-grown plant overnight. There's a gestation period where work happens beneath the surface. Invisible to the eye, your thought seeds operate the same way, silently growing roots before their effects become visible in your life. The wonderful promise is this: as surely as summer follows spring, the thoughts you consistently hold in your mind will manifest in your external world. This is not mystical thinking, but the practical application of cause and effect. Begin your mental gardening practice today. Pull the weeds of doubt, fear, and limitation. Plant instead the powerful seeds of expectation, confidence, and possibility. Water them with attention and protect them with persistence. The garden of your mind awaits your conscious direction. What will you choose to grow there? Lesson 4. The power of deliberate service. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Let that sink in for a moment. Throughout my years of studying the habits and patterns of truly successful men and women, I've discovered an extraordinary truth that transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. This truth is simple, yet profound. Those who achieve genuine success are invariably those who have dedicated themselves to serving others. Think about it. The greatest fortunes in our country weren't built by people who set out merely to make money. They were built by those who identified a need, solved a problem, or provided something of value to their fellow human beings. Henry Ford didn't just want to be wealthy. He wanted to put America on wheels. Thomas Edison didn't toil through thousands of experiments simply to fill his bank account. He wanted to bring light to the world. When you orient your life around service to others, something remarkable happens. The focus shifts from what you can get to what you can give. And in that shift lies a transformative power that will revolutionize not only your results, but your entire experience of living. The question you must ask yourself is this: does my goal serve beyond myself? If your ambition benefits only you, it carries limited power. But when your goal improves the lives of others, it taps into a current of energy far greater than personal desire alone could generate. I remember a young man who came to me years ago, frustrated with his lack of progress in business. "I've tried everything," he told me. "I've worked longer hours, attended seminars, read all the books." When I asked him about his primary aim, he spoke only of the income he wanted to earn and the things he wanted to acquire. I suggested a simple shift, that for 30 days he focus instead on how he could provide exceptional value to his customers. The transformation was nothing short of miraculous. Not only did his sales increase dramatically, but he found himself energized in a way that mere self-interest had never produced. He had discovered the power of deliberate service. You see, when we plant the seeds of service in the garden of our mind, we harvest not only material rewards, but a sense of purpose that money alone cannot buy. The universe seems uniquely designed to reward those who contribute value to others. Consider this truth. Every single fortune in America began with someone solving a problem for someone else. Every invention, every business, every advancement started with the question, how can I help? Not how can I help? Not how can I profit? I challenge you today to examine your own goals and aspirations. Do they extend beyond your personal gain? Do they extend beyond your personal gain? Do they contribute something meaningful to your fellow travelers on this journey we call life? If not, perhaps it's time to plant new seeds in that fertile soil between your ears. Take a moment now to identify your unique service contribution. What problems are you uniquely positioned to solve? What value can you bring that no one else can quite deliver in the same way? Answer these questions honestly, and you will have discovered the key that unlocks the door to true and lasting success. Lesson 5. The Silent Current of Attitude. I'd like to talk with you today about something so powerful yet so subtle that many people go through their entire lives without ever fully grasping its significance. I'm talking about attitude, that silent current that flows beneath everything we do and say. Your attitude is the magic ingredient in all achievement. It's the color with which you paint your world. Two people can face identical circumstances, the very same challenge, opportunity, or setback, yet experience entirely different outcomes based solely on the attitude they bring to the situation. A positive attitude is like having the wind at your back, while a negative attitude is like swimming against a powerful current. The remarkable thing is that we choose which current we swim in. This choice happens so automatically that most people don't realize they're making it at all. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to attract good fortune wherever they go? It's not luck or chance. These people carry with them an expectation of positive outcomes. They speak to themselves with words of encouragement and possibility. They simply refuse to entertain thoughts of failure for any extended period. This creates what psychologists call a self-fulfilling prophecy. We tend to create the very conditions we most deeply believe will occur. When inevitable setbacks come, and they always do, the person with a positive attitude bounces back quickly. They see temporary failure as feedback, not as a final verdict on their worth or abilities, Meanwhile, the person with a negative attitude sees the same setback as confirmation of their worst fears, reinforcing their negative self-talk. I've found that attitude can be cultivated through deliberate practice. For the next 30 days, I challenge you to condition your attitude through conscious effort. Begin each morning by setting your mental and emotional tone for the day. Speak words of expectancy and possibility to yourself. Guard your mind carefully against complaint, criticism, and condemnation, the 3 C's that poison a positive attitude. When challenges arise during your day, pause before responding. Ask yourself, what would a person with an unshakably positive attitude do in this situation? Then act accordingly, even if you don't feel like it. Remember, action often precedes feeling. Act the way you wish to feel, and soon the feeling will follow the action. Take a few minutes tonight to complete your personal attitude inventory. Write down 3 situations where your attitude served you well today, and 3 situations where a different attitude might have created better results. This simple exercise in self-awareness will show you exactly where to focus your efforts tomorrow. Your attitude truly is the silent current that either propels you toward your goals or pushes you away from them. The remarkable truth is that, regardless of your past or present circumstances, you alone control this current. By choosing to talk to yourself with words of possibility rather than limitation, you transform your attitude from a cage into a key that unlocks your greatest potential. Lesson 6. The alchemy of turning time into gold. There exists a great equalizer among all men and women who walk this earth. The wealthy man in his mansion and the poor man in his cottage both receive exactly the same allotment of this precious resource each day. I'm speaking, of course, about time. 24 golden hours given to each of us with the rising of the sun. What separates the achiever from the dreamer is not more time, but the wisdom of how those hours are invested. Time is the raw material of everything worthwhile in life. When you understand this fundamental truth, your life changes dramatically. Consider how the average person spends their hours, drifting, reacting to whatever comes their way, allowing interruptions to dictate their day. They speak of killing time or passing time, as if these precious moments were enemies to be defeated, rather than allies to be embraced. They wonder where their days have gone, looking back at weeks and months with little progress toward their most cherished goals. The successful person, however, guards their time like the treasure it truly is. They understand that concentrated effort on worthy goals produces results far beyond what scattered attention can achieve. They have learned that effectiveness is not about doing more things, but doing the right things, those special activities that move them toward their objectives. Let me share with you a simple truth. Most great achievements in life come not from working harder, but from working differently. The person who accomplishes the most is rarely the one who works the most hours. Rather, it's the one who brings intensity of focus to hours deliberately invested in high-value activities. To transform your ordinary hours into gold, begin by conducting a personal time audit. For 1 week, record honestly how you spend each hour. You may be shocked to discover how much time vanishes into activities that produce little value. Television, idle conversation, disorganized work patterns. These are the silent thieves that rob you of your most precious resource. Once you see clearly where your time goes, implement the principle of concentrated effort. Identify those activities that yield the highest return on your time investment. For the writer, it's putting words on the page. For the salesperson, it's being in front of qualified prospects. For the parent, it's meaningful engagement with your children. Block these golden hours in your schedule first, protecting them from interruption. Give them your full attention and energy. You'll be amazed at how much more you accomplish in focused blocks than in fragmented stretches of distracted effort. Time can be invested only once. When this day ends, its hours are gone forever. The question is not whether you will spend them. You surely will, but whether you will spend them on purpose or by accident, on priorities or on distractions. When you truly grasp that your time is gold waiting to be mined, you'll never again think of it casually. Begin today to turn your hours into achievement, your days into progress, and your life into the masterpiece it was meant to be. This alchemy, turning ordinary time into extraordinary results, is the secret practice of every person who has ever achieved greatness. Lesson 7. The quiet virtue of persistence. Hello, this is Earl Nightingale. Today, let's discuss something that separates winners from the merely talented: persistence. This quiet virtue is perhaps the greatest power in the universe, yet so few harness its true potential. Consider the bamboo tree. For 4 long years after planting, you see nothing but a tiny shoot, yet beneath the soil, an elaborate root system is forming. Then suddenly, in the 5th year, the bamboo grows up to 80 feet. The question is, did the bamboo grow 80 feet in 5 years or in just a few weeks? The answer is both, of course. Success, like the bamboo, follows this same pattern. Most people quit just inches from their gold mine. They work, they struggle, they persist. But only to a point. At the first plateau, when progress seems to halt, they become discouraged. What they don't realize is that plateaus are natural parts of any worthwhile journey. These flat stretches of seeming non-achievement are actually periods when your subconscious mind is reorganizing itself for the next burst of growth. Think of the remarkable story of Colonel Sanders. At age 65, living on a small Social Security check, he traveled across the country, sleeping in his car, facing rejection after rejection, 1009 times, before someone finally said yes to his chicken recipe. 1,009 rejections would have sent most people back home after the first dozen tries. Yet the colonel persisted, and today Kef stands as a monument to his quiet determination. Or consider Thomas Edison, who famously made over 10,000 attempts before perfecting the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he simply said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." What magnificent persistence! Here's the simple truth. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent won't. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful people with talent. Genius won't. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education won't. The world is full of educated failures. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The next time you face a plateau in your progress, remember this: it's perfectly natural. Every worthwhile goal includes these flat stretches where nothing seems to happen. This is when most people quit, and precisely when you must push forward. The plateaus are where your character is built. Try this simple exercise to build your persistence muscle. Choose one small daily action related to your goal and commit to doing it for 67 days straight. The scientific time frame needed to cement a new habit. No matter how you feel, no matter what obstacles arise, complete this one action. Weather, mood, and circumstances cannot be allowed to interfere. Through this practice, you're not just making progress toward your goal. You're developing the quiet virtue that underlies all achievement. Remember, the path to success isn't a straight line upward. It's a series of growth spurts, plateaus, and breakthroughs. Persistence isn't glamorous, but it's the true secret weapon of achievers. When you feel like quitting, that's precisely when you must persist. The breakthrough often comes just after the darkest moment. Lesson 8. The hidden power of your word. This evening, I want to talk with you about something extraordinary, something so fundamental to your success that without it, all other efforts may crumble like a house built on sand. I'm speaking about the hidden power of your word. Your word is your bond, not just to others, but more importantly, to yourself. When you make a commitment and keep it, you're doing something remarkable. You're programming your subconscious mind with the unshakable belief that you are a person who follows through. Each promise kept is a brick in the foundation of your character. Imagine for a moment that you have a friend who constantly breaks promises. They say they'll meet you at 7, but arrive at 8. They borrow money with promises to repay, yet never do. How much would you trust this person? Very little, I imagine. Now here's the extraordinary insight. When you break promises to yourself, your subconscious mind begins to trust you just as little. Every morning when you say, "I'll exercise today," and don't, you're teaching your deeper mind that your words carry no weight. When you declare, "I'll start my project this weekend," but instead watch television, you're silently undermining yourself. Trust, your word to yourself matters profoundly. There's a certain magic that happens when a person begins to keep every promise they make to themselves, no matter how small. The first few days may seem insignificant. Getting up when you said you would, reading the pages you committed to read, making the calls you planned to make. But something begins to shift within. Your confidence grows. Your self-respect deepens. Most importantly, your subconscious begins to respond differently to your commands. I've observed this phenomenon in the lives of countless successful men and women. They guard their word as their most precious possession. Before making a commitment, they consider carefully. But once their word is given, to themselves or others, wild horses couldn't drag them from completion. This integrity with yourself creates a powerful ripple effect. As you consistently honor your word, you'll notice opportunities increasing. People sense your reliability. Circumstances seem to arrange themselves to support your endeavors. This isn't mystical thinking. It's the natural outcome of aligned thought and action. Begin today with small promises. Say you'll walk for 10 minutes, then do exactly that. Commit to drinking 8 glasses of water, then follow through precisely. Declare you'll make 3 business calls, then make them without fail. These may seem like tiny actions, but they're giant leaps in self-development. Within a week of this practice, you'll feel a new power growing within you. Within a month, you'll barely recognize the person you were before. Your word will have transformed from a casual expression into a force that shapes your reality. Remember always, the way you talk to yourself and the way you honor those private conversations is either the cage that limits you or the key that sets you free. Choose to make your word your wand and watch as it works wonders in your life. Lesson 9. The sixth sense of opportunity. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have a knack for being in the right place at the right time? These fortunate souls appear to stumble upon golden opportunities while others walk right past the same treasures, never noticing what lies before them. This is no accident. What we're observing is not luck, but something I call the sixth sense of opportunity, a developed awareness that can transform your life. Opportunity does not announce itself with trumpets and fanfare. It whispers. It comes dressed in work clothes, presenting itself as problems to be solved. The trained mind recognizes what others miss because it has been conditioned to see possibilities where others see only obstacles, Consider the story of a young man named Charles who worked at a service station in the 1950s. While pumping gas one day, he noticed many customers complaining about having to drive across town for car washes. Where most heard merely complaints, Charles heard opportunity knocking. He convinced the station owner to install a simple car wash. Within a year, the car wash generated more revenue than the gas sailed. Charles eventually purchased the station and built a chain of combination gas and car wash facilities across the state. What separated Charles from the dozens of other attendants who heard the same complaints? His sixth sense of opportunity was active and alert. This sense can be developed by anyone willing to train their mind to look beyond the surface of everyday situations. Start by asking yourself better questions. When facing any circumstance, rather than asking what's wrong here, ask instead what opportunity might be hidden here. This simple shift changes everything. Remember, opportunity recognition happens at the intersection of preparation and timing. The unprepared mind cannot recognize opportunities related to subjects it doesn't understand. This explains why education and continuous learning form the soil from which opportunity awareness grows. You must fill your mind with knowledge about your field and related areas of interest. Had Thomas Edison known nothing of electricity, the opportunity to create the light bulb would have been invisible to him. Had Henry Ford not been fascinated by mechanics, the opportunity to revolutionize automobile manufacturing would have passed him by. The good news is that we live in a world overflowing with opportunities. Every problem represents potential fortune for the person who can solve it. Every inefficiency in the marketplace is an opening for improvement. Every changing trend signals the birth of new needs waiting to be fulfilled. Developing your opportunity awareness requires courage, too. The courage to act while others hesitate. When you sense an opportunity, move toward it with decisive action. Analysis has its place, but perfectionism is opportunity's enemy. While the perfectionist waits for ideal conditions, the opportunity seeker takes imperfect action. Begin today to sharpen this sixth sense. Keep a small notebook where you record problems waiting for solutions. Train yourself to see gaps in services and products. Listen closely when people express frustrations. Their complaints are market intelligence in disguise. Your life will transform when you develop this sixth sense of opportunity. Possibilities that remained hidden before will suddenly appear all around you, waiting only for your recognition and response. Lesson 10. The Forgotten Art of Creative Thought. I'd like to talk to you about something extraordinary you possess, something so valuable yet so often underutilized. Your creative imagination, this remarkable power, this forgotten art of creative thought, may well be your greatest resource in achieving the success you desire. You see, your mind has two distinct functions. The first, which most people rely on exclusively, involves absorbing information, processing facts, and engaging in linear thinking. The second function, creative imagination, is where the true magic happens. This is where ideas are born, where problems find unexpected solutions, where limitations dissolve. Consider this. Every great achievement in human history began as a single thought in someone's mind. The automobile, the airplane, the telephone, the computer you might be reading this on. Each started as nothing more than an idea, a product of creative imagination. When Thomas Edison sought to create artificial light, he wasn't merely assembling facts. He was employing creative thought, envisioning something that had never existed before. Through 10,000 attempts, his creative mind kept reshaping the problem until the solution emerged. Your creative faculty grows stronger with use, like any muscle. Yet most of us have allowed this powerful ability to atrophy. We've become consumed by routine thinking, by accepting limitations, by following established patterns. Let me suggest a simple exercise to reawaken this dormant power. Each morning, before the day's demands crowd your mind, spend just 15 minutes in quiet, creative thought. Select a specific challenge or goal, then allow your mind to play with possibilities without judgment or criticism. Let ideas flow freely, no matter how impractical they might initially seem. The businessman who imagines new ways to serve his customers, the teacher who envisions more effective methods to inspire students, the parent who creatively approaches family challenges. These people tap into the power that changes lives. Creativity thrives in certain conditions. First, it requires periods of solitude and reflection. Second, it demands freedom from fear of failure or criticism. Third, it flourishes when we expose ourselves to diverse influences and perspectives. The mastermind principle, gathering with others specifically to generate ideas, can multiply your creative output exponentially. When minds work together with shared purpose, the creative energy produced is far greater than the sum of individual efforts. The quality of your life tomorrow will be determined by the quality of your thoughts today. As we think, so we become. The greatest barrier between you and the life you desire isn't external. It's the limitation of conventional thinking. Begin today to reclaim this forgotten art. Set aside time for creative thought. Break free from patterns that restrict you. Cultivate your imagination deliberately and persistently. The solutions you seek, the opportunities you desire, the growth you crave, all await discovery through this remarkable power that has been yours from the beginning. Your creative thought isn't just a pleasant diversion. It's the key that unlocks doors to possibilities you may have never considered. Use it, trust it, develop it, and watch as your life transforms in ways you might once have thought impossible. Lesson 11. The Quiet Revolution of Daily Habits. Hello, this is Earl Nightingale. Today we're going to discuss something that may seem ordinary at first glance, but holds extraordinary power in shaping your destiny. I'm talking about your daily habits, those small, seemingly insignificant actions you perform day after day, often without conscious thought. These habits form the quiet revolution happening within each of us. They are the silent architects of your future self. Consider this truth. What you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while. The person you will become 5 years from now is determined largely by the small decisions you make today, tomorrow, and the next day. Most people dramatically overestimate what they can accomplish in a day and drastically underestimate what they can achieve in a year of consistent daily action. This misunderstanding leads many to chase dramatic changes while overlooking the miracle of compound improvement through tiny disciplines. Look at any area of your life where you've achieved success. I'll wager that behind that success lies a series of small, consistent actions performed faithfully over time. Your habits are creating your future with every passing hour. The wonderful news is that habits work in both directions. Just as negative patterns can gradually diminish your life, positive habits can slowly elevate it beyond what you might imagine possible today. The key is understanding that your habits are either working for you or against you. There's no neutral ground. If you speak to yourself with criticism and doubt each morning, that becomes a habit that shapes your self-image. If you begin each day affirming your capabilities and focusing on possibilities, that too becomes habitual. One habit builds a cage around your potential. The other creates a key that unlocks it. Many seek the dramatic breakthrough, the overnight success, the moment of profound transformation. But life seldom works that way. Real change happens gradually, through the power of small decisions made consistently. The person who walks for 30 minutes each day will, over time, far outperform the enthusiast who runs vigorously once a month. Here's a simple experiment I encourage you to try. Select one small positive habit, perhaps reading 10 pages of an inspiring book each morning, or writing down 3 gratitudes before bed, or drinking water first thing upon waking. Commit to performing this one action faithfully for 30 days without exception. Notice how, by the end of the month, what initially required willpower now feels automatic. That's the miracle of habit formation. Once established, good habits require less energy to maintain than they generate in benefits. Remember this: your life today is essentially the sum of your habits, how you talk to yourself habitually, what you routinely do with your mornings, how you consistently respond to challenges. These patterns determine your destiny far more than occasional bursts of inspiration or effort. The revolution of daily habits isn't loud or dramatic. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare. Instead, works quietly, gradually, and with absolute certainty to transform your life one day at a time. In the grand story of your life, the hero isn't the person who makes a single bold decision, but rather the one who makes 1,000 small right choices consistently, day after day. Lesson 12. The Magnificent Journey Home. This morning, we come to the end of our journey together, but in truth, we stand at the beginning of your greatest adventure. The path you're about to walk is one that leads directly back to yourself, to the person you were always meant to be. Throughout our time together, we've discovered that the voice inside your head holds extraordinary power. That voice, your voice, can either confine you to a lifetime of limitation or unlock doors to possibilities beyond your imagination. The choice has always been yours. Remember when we first began? We talked about that strange secret of success, that we become what we think about most of the time. This isn't some mystical concept, but a practical truth that shapes every human life. The farmer who plants corn cannot harvest wheat. Similarly, the mind focused on lack cannot produce abundance. Think about the garden of your mind we discussed, those seeds of thought you've been planting daily, some deliberately, others unconsciously, have been growing all along. What harvest are you seeing in your life right now? Whatever it is, recognize it as the perfect reflection of your predominant thoughts. Have you been dwelling on problems or solutions, on what you lack or what you possess, on fear or on faith? Your life today answers these questions with perfect honesty. The magnificent truth is that you can change your harvest the moment you change your seeds. Your past thinking created your present, but your present thinking will create your future. This power has been with you all along. I've often told the story of the eagle raised among chickens. Though born to soar above mountains, it scratched in the dirt because that's what it was taught to do. How many human eagles live their lives pecking at the ground, never realizing they were born to fly? You were born for the heights. The same power that spins the earth, lights the sun, and orders the stars flows through you. When you speak to yourself with words of power, purpose, and possibility, you align with this magnificent force. The cage dissolves when you recognize that you built it yourself, thought by thought, word by word. The key appears when you choose, this very moment, to speak to yourself with the dignity befitting your true nature. So I ask you, starting today, what will you say when you talk to yourself? Will your inner conversation reflect the chicken yard or the mountain heights? Will your words form bars or fashion wings? This choice, made moment by moment, day by day, determines everything. It's not a choice you make once, but thousands of times, until it becomes as natural as breathing. As we conclude, remember that the greatest journey is always the journey home, back to the truth of who you really are. And the way you talk to yourself is either the cage that prevents this homecoming or the key that makes it possible. Choose your words wisely. Your life is listening.